Hey, good day, everybody. Welcome to the Real Talk Show. Hope you're having an awesome night tonight. Tonight's going to be a little exciting. We have the full panel back on the show, and you're going to have some kicks, you're going to have some fun. I encourage you all to come with all your questions. Get some popcorn, because Unika and Ryan in the house here today.
Popcorn just for me, eh?
Yeah, just for you.
Wow, well, get your popcorn, guys. I'm ready for a good show tonight, guys. Excited. Ready to hear what we're going to be talking about. I kind of like the idea of the mystery of not knowing what people are going to be talking about, what videos coming. So, yeah, looking forward.
You seen Mark?
Hey, good night, Kyle, Onika, and everybody else here on the panel.
Everybody else is just Eva.
Well, they didn't reveal Eva's yet.
Oh gosh.
Big up everybody online that's watching. I want to encourage you to share the stream, share it with your friends, your cousin, your auntie, your uncle, everybody. And, we're going to have a great time tonight, so welcome, and we're moving on to Eva, my better half.
Oh, I know, right?
That's right.
Good night, everybody. Good night, Facebook. Good night, YouTube. Welcome back, guys. We ready for some real talk tonight. We want to see y'all commenting. Remember to share. Remember to interact. We really want to hear from y'all. That's the purpose for us having this in this forum, so that we can really hear from y'all. We want to hear your comments. We want to hear your questions. Whatever it is y'all want to say, y'all free, right? Because this is real talk. We're going to go back to Kyle, get excited. As Kyle said, grab a snack, make sure and share the stream with somebody, anybody. Nobody here know what anybody going to talk about. So, guys, we in for a treat for sure. Kyle, back to you.
Hey, so good night, you guys. I'll look in to see if I'm liking the stream, right? But I can't see it on my end. So, I encourage you all to share it with somebody. But how y'all going?
Good. Well, yeah, good. For the
Good?
most part, yeah.
What's
My husband tried to
show.
spread some germs. I was sick the other day and I didn't spread my germs. I think I moved, cautious. But he walked around the house going,
So I have a question,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Is this
what
a
Mark
thing that when you're married, right, and you're sick, is it okay to sleep in somewhere else?
Me ain't care if it's okay, I doing it.
Somebody once asked me that question, because my wife and me do the same thing, whenever I just go somewhere else. Like, I don't want to,
the way when he have the flu, nobody gonna want to sleep next to him. He sneeze, like if he's spraying, like the intention is to spray the place, like for mosquitoes. And so that's not nice. Imagine you sleeping next to somebody and no.
I don't know if that's men, because Mark does the same thing. And whatever tissue he wiping his nose with, you just seeing tissue all over the house. Yeah. And I'm like,
I turn on the bed and
it's
have
how
a
Mark
piece of
watching,
tissue.
like, you just selling me out here to somebody.
Eva, imagine you on the bed and you make a turn and you're seeing tissue there with snot on it. That is not right.
his tissue don't have no snot like, the green ones. It don't have any of that, but it is be like normal runny nose. Like, sorry for the color description there, but yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Here's the way.
Yeah. So yes, to answer your question, it's okay to sleep in separate rooms when you have the flu and you're
Mark
married.
did not sleep
I
in
did
a
do
separate room though.
I did do
When
that.
I had COVID, Mark say I could say COVID. I could say COVID.
Yeah.
Maybe you can sense it when you had that virus.
When I had the virus, Mark didn't. I feel he wanted it though.
All of us.
So we would have get like a longer quarantine.
I
But,
didn't mind, because it don't make sense if I get it same time with you for the quarantine too.
True, but our one worked out really good because as soon as I
it worked out really good. Wow.
as soon
She said
as
it worked
my
out really
quarantine ended, we went back to work for a week, and literally the next Monday morning, Mark was sick and it was COVID.
Wait.
So we got next quarantine.
But-
But our quarantine was the short one.
But when Eva had COVID, I was honestly concerned that she was gonna die.
No, he was happy at first.
What?
The night when I came home,
Mark.
the night when I came
I just
home,
not talk.
Mark, that's the truth though. The night when I came home and I told him I was feeling a little sick, because I wasn't feeling like real sick or anything. I was normal, but I just started to get a little symptoms. And he was like, I wonder if you have COVID, boy. And you could see the joy in Mark's face.
Joy.
And I took a test,
he got to
a
steal?
home test.
Yeah.
But the line was very faint, like almost non-existent. And I told work, but when I woke up the next morning, whoa, it was like full on. And I think that's when he really got scared.
I get scared when I can't remember, somewhere in Maraval, and the way it was moving. Yeah, I got scared. But I didn't want to sleep separate from Eva because of how weak it was. I didn't really sleep. I used to check on her every half
Oh,
an hour
that's
every
so
day
Yeah.
to make sure she
sweet.
good. So
Oh.
that's
Like
why I was
to see
there.
if I'm breathing. He thought I was gonna
Father, so when
die.
you have a child, a baby, what you gonna be like, Mark?
True, that's true. We'll talk about that today.
Yeah.
But you had it so bad,
Why
in
y'all
serious?
talk about that
Yeah.
today? Why y'all
I'm
talk
not
about that
pregnant.
today?
I only look pregnant.
No,
I didn't say anything, but yeah.
But I am not pregnant.
Oh,
No, sorry to
Oh, Lord,
disappoint
oh, Lord,
you.
oh, Lord.
You pregnant, honey, girl? I'm genuinely asking. Because you are boy child man, so I just asking.
What's really going on here, boy?
Oh gosh. Anyhow, yes. So
yeah.
it's okay to be in a separate room, right? That's all I want to know.
Of course.
Online, all the time, if all do that, if it is so you try to stick together, or if the person would dig out horrors because you're in the next room. Because that people just be like that, you have to sleep next to me. They feel weird.
I don't always do it, but like
I don't know, see,
there are
that's always
times
do it,
when
but
like
I'm
you
saying-
just I don't want like I just had the flu and I'm like I don't want the
to get
flu
sick
again. You
Yeah,
know?
if you're sick, you're sick.
Yeah.
I don't know, boy. I can't see myself doing it, you know. Honestly.
I think Eva can see yourself doing it.
No, even if Mark's like I don't I just
Oh,
kind
gosh.
of keep a little distance.
Distance,
Yeah.
yeah, because obviously you don't want.
But
Yeah.
Mark not like that. Actually, no, you're not like that at all.
Where's that?
Surprisingly. To wanting to keep that distance. Like he didn't care when I was sick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, no, what think about it?
All right. But anyhow, tonight we have some unique topics that I don't know about, them don't know nothing about. And we want to jump in. Who want to kick off the show tonight?
Can I kick you off?
You can do that afterwards if you want.
True.
Good one. Good one. Good one.
You want to go on, Mark?
I guess I could go first.
Yeah, let me hear you.
Is it that they will have to show the video? They will have to show the video first.
Well,
huh?
I don't know if they have it lined up already.
Yeah. So how we looking? We can start with the video.
Wait, while laughing at Keelan, how you looking?
You look like one of the shepherd boys.
I'm not gonna say looking like he out of a nativity scene.
And nativity.
A nativity
Maybe you can see
scene.
what's going on online by the time, Eva.
True.
Yeah. Well, I've not seen any comments on.
Well, actually,
I've not
we
any
see.
comments.
We not seen anything on the screen as well. Okay, cool.
Because this will show both.
It's about StreamYard.
I know wondering if I had to share the stream. I was
Yeah.
gonna share the stream myself. Yeah.
Actually, yeah. We could put it.
Should.
Oops.
What's going on with you?
The headphones
Oh, okay.
wasn't
okay.
allowing me to
Yeah, we ready.
You ready, yeah? Alright, time. We're not hearing anything.
If you don't forgive your parents, you will become like your parents. Am I saying you shouldn't be hurt? I'm not saying that at all. Maybe what they have done or failed to do, it hurts the heart of God. But the Bible doesn't have exception clauses for dishonorable parents, so how do we honor dishonorable parents? It's like cheering for a criminal, right? There's something in the soul that feels wrong about that. See, there's a root of sin in their life. They sin against you. It's like you're infected now. Forgiveness is how you are cleansed.
We're not hearing audio again now.
Yeah, we're not hearing the. Yeah.
Something happened there just now. I don't know. Start it back over if you could.
If you don't forgive your parents, you will become like your parents. Am I saying you shouldn't be hurt? I'm not saying that at all. Maybe what they have done or failed to do, it hurts the heart of God. But the Bible doesn't have exception clauses for dishonorable parents, so how do we honor dishonorable parents? It's like cheering for a criminal, right? There's something in the soul that feels wrong about that. So there's a root of sin in their life. They sin against you. It's like you're infected now. Forgiveness is how you are cleansed from that root of bitterness. If you don't forgive, then the sin that lived in them now lives in you, and it's transmuted through the bitterness. You ever see somebody that hates their parent and then grows up to become just like them? It's because they never forgave them.
I think that's it. You
Yeah.
yeah.
That wasn't the original topic I wanted to go with. The original one I had, I feel it was a little too controversial. And
Nah, man, it could never be too controversial. Never.
But I actually
Interesting.
saw somebody shared that this week to do with parents, and it was very interesting because I guess it's something that it means something to me because I would have had issues with my parents. I think everybody would have some kind of issue in some sort of way with your parents, but for some people it's more difficult
deeper,
than others.
Yeah.
But what I would start off saying is I think your parents is special. Whether they're good or bad, there's no other person that could ever replace in the sense of being your parent. Like you literally you could resemble your parents. You know, it's a unique thing. You get certain traits from your parents. It's a special relationship that God orchestrates. You know, your parents, you don't have no choice in choosing who your parents is. That is something God chooses, your mom and your dad. And I was trying to think about, well, in Exodus 20:12, it says, honor your father, your mother, so that you may live long in the land. Right? So, and I was trying to think of what are some reasons you should honor your parents, even when you feel like they're not honorable people. Unfortunately, for people who in that position where they have bad experiences with your parents. And in giving it some thought, I was thinking that just the fact that your mom would have give birth to you, I think is something honorable because these days you have a choice to allow you to come into the world or not. There are a lot of options where that is concerned. And then something I thought about is there was a period of time in my life when I didn't even know myself. I didn't know I was born. I can't remember when I was born. I can't.
He wasn't aware. He didn't have the concept of being born.
I can't remember anything. And it's very powerful to me because in that stage, I was totally vulnerable. Like if my mother had put me out at 4 days old, there's not much I could have done.
4 days, huh?
Yeah.
4 days.
Some people just take a child and just
I
leave
know,
by the
sure.
doorstep and leave their child and thing.
People just find children in the dump and
Yeah.
them kind of thing, unfortunately. So, in thinking about it, there was a period where I was totally dependent on my mom and my dad, taking care of me, nurturing me, keeping my life. And I think that is something that's honorable, that they would have offered that kind of life-saving and preserving love. So, even if your parent would have, some people go through abuse, some people go through some tough things. I talked to somebody just this week that went through some real difficult things with his mom, and he told me that he chose to forgive, and well, now he has children and he's trying to change basically what would have been what he experienced. And I think even if your parent was evil towards you or you went through things growing up with them, just the fact that they gave birth to you and you're alive, I think is something to give honor to them for. And the reason I would say that is because every person that comes into this world has an opportunity to connect to a greater parent, which is God,
Amen.
to connect to Christ. And I would say that is such a wonderful opportunity just to encounter the Lord, and also we have an opportunity to receive eternal life and experience a perfect relationship from Christ. So that is something I think is awesome. As evil as a parent could possibly be, God turns that around for good. And well, I'll just share. I wouldn't go too deep, but personally for me, my parents fall short in different areas. And like, for instance, my dad, we didn't always have the best relationship. And I had unforgiveness towards him. And I know he wouldn't mind sharing that because he shares certain things on TTT and stuff. But
When I interview and
Eye for eye. Yeah, public eye show.
But I always used to feel kind of weird towards him due to how things went down. He wasn't always wrong in my life. And what helped me, well, our relationship is way different now. When I came to the Lord, I experienced forgiveness personally. And it's like a cup filling with water. and it overflowing, it's gonna more than you could ever need or contain. Well, like that forgiveness in my life was so strong that even the person that I thought I could have never forgive, it was so strong in my life that it just was outpouring. And that was one of the first things I felt like the Lord wanted me to do, was to forgive my father. And I just reached out to him and, connected to him. And that's how he came to the Lord. I never preached him. I never tell him anything about God. He just saw the change and what God was doing in my life at that time. And he told me he wanted to come to church with me. And he came. And I remember when he left, he gave his life to the Lord. When he came, and he told me, he said, "Where you find this fellowship, boy?" Like, he was telling me, there's something he always wanted. And when we would sit down and talk. And, well, how I ended up in Trinidad, my family on his side originally from Guyana. Guyanese, big up the Guyanese posse. Right?
So is that Guyanese then?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. My great-grandfather was a Guyanese doctor. And it had a lot of issues and trouble due to my family like women, the men. They really like women. And
all men have problems with women.
Yeah. But that's how we end up in Trinidad. And basically,
they like women.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But basically, I realized that some of the issues in my father's life, he would have went through issues with his father. And then when I checked the history, his father had issues with his father. And sometimes you will be angry in a situation when something happened for you. But if you look at the full picture, many of us have been affected and attacked in different ways. And when I look at like my mom, like I was talking to my sister, and, talking to different people, and sometimes you see the bad that parent do, but I also see the good, where even though she would have had issues in certain areas, she fight to take care of us. She fight to do different things, and you might know, well, I could be free in Christ or understand, like they might have weaknesses, but within their weaknesses, they tried the best now. And for me, I realized that I could have grace in that area because I fell short. So for any person who going through something like that, I want to encourage you to really see the opportunities in Christ and also know that we have a perfect Father who could pick up the slack for the areas where your earthly parents fall short, and actually God could use you. It's like because I'm closing, I don't want to go too long, but like I was picturing like a river just flowing, and like when bad things happen to you and you have the unforgiveness and the bitterness, it's just going to keep you just going with the flow. But when you forgive, it's like you're blocking off that course and you're changing the direction and everything. And that's what Christ does. You don't want to continue, because it's very interesting that how things just continue in my family from my great-grand to my father and it just keep going down the line. And it's up to you now to really, the things that hurt you, I don't want that in my children's life. So you could get healing from it first of all, and then you could change the that pattern, that cycle. So that's something that was very powerful that I have
a question for you on the topic, right? I don't know
Yeah.
if anybody else, maybe Unica or even Eva could answer it. Like, what does it mean when the Bible say that to honor your parents that will go well with you?
I was actually thinking about that too.
What do you mean it will go well with you?
I think it's in English.
Yeah.
It will go well with you.
No, but why? Like, why? When I honor them, why? So if somebody walk in this one, how it wouldn't go well for them? That is that's a question,
All right. I mean, it would not go well for you.
What way it wouldn't go well for you then? Right?
I know a parent have a certain measure of authority over your life.
Well, as the gentleman in Mark's video said, when you don't forgive, when you hold on, if you're dishonoring your parents, more than likely you have what's against them.
Right.
I think anybody who's like that way towards their parents, I think you could safely say they have unforgiveness for their parents. And I think if you're walking in unforgiveness, it's just going to open, that is like an open door for the enemy to affect your lives, as much as people might feel justified in holding on because they've been so hurt. Parents hurt them and they say, you don't know what my parents put me through. And so they think that they're justified to hold on to that bitterness and unforgiveness. But that is like giving Satan almost like the authority over your life for it to not go well with you. You're opening a door there through the unforgiveness and the dishonor. So I mean, it might hamper your relationships. That's an example. It could you could be trying to have nice, healthy relationships, and you realize, why am I struggling in all my relationships? Why is everything always toxic with my And it could be because of that bitterness. It could, you could have sickness in your life. That's a big one. I think we've prayed for people already.
Yeah, that's something linked generational.
They come for healing, and then when we pray, we realize that, wait, now this person has unforgiveness, and there's a generational thing affecting their life because they don't want to. And when you say, okay, there's this demon there, and the demon say it there because you don't want to forgive your mother. You're ready to forgive your mother, and they can't do it.
Yeah.
So the sickness is able to affect their lives.
Okay.
But
You want?
I was just gonna say I could understand too why sometimes it's hard to forgive because you just feel like you do me all that and just so.
Of course, yeah.
Just so you
It's a big trick. Forgiveness is a tricky. That's one of the areas that the enemy really hold against people, hold over their head, because it's hard for people to let go of all the years of pain and hurt and abuse, and then you just come in and tell me forgive. It's like they don't deserve forgiveness. They deserve to be punished. They deserve to be exposed. Some people want to expose too. They find it's not good enough that I know what I went through. I want all you to know the kind of beast I dealing with. That kind of that kind of vibe. And that root of bitterness, it can destroy your life.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You do anything you want to add to it? I don't know. I just hoping your mic on, right? Because you're not hearing through the mic.
I don't hear through the headphones.
Yeah, headphones, yeah, that's it. Oh, you're hearing yourself? Okay, cool. I just want to make sure, yeah.
I think so.
Okay. No, we're not hearing you. But go ahead.
I'm hearing myself.
Yeah. Once you hear yourself,
You're not
amen.
hearing? You're not? Oh,
She's not
okay.
coming through the stream. Oh, okay. All right, well, cool. It's interesting in the Bible also, just to add something, like, when the Bible talk about us as humans, right? The Bible talks, God created man.
Yeah.
And he says he created them a little lower than the angels. But then he crowned them with glory and honor. That even God is actually honor us in our life. Yeah, actually, if you read the Bible, I was now just having a conversation with Nikki Father. Let's say now we're talking about different things. And when you think about it, that who is God that he's honor us? You know what I mean? Like, he could look at somebody's life, like I was saying, like how David, he do all the madness. But in the Bible it says, God, David pleased me in every way, except it Uriah the Hittite. And it was almost like God was also honoring him, Uriah, because he was an honorable man. He was actually more honorable than David, because when the situation happened, he didn't want to, and it's almost like God didn't want his name to also not be remembered. And if you read the Bible, God is many times honor us. All the struggle, all the things that we go through in our life. You see the hurts, the things like what you're saying to your parents, there wasn't many times you might have viewed them as a good parent. But the things that they go through in their life to even see you to come, they could have just dump you in a dumpster, and God is see the other side of the story where their life was difficult and they put up with a lot and help you and went through something, and now you turn around and cuss them. And because sometimes it's not even, sometimes just forgive. Sometimes people feel they know more than their parents. Yeah. They just talk to them like, it's stupid or thing. And I could see that happening more in the modern world now today, where everybody feel they know more about certain things, and their parents slow and they feel they could disrespect them in public, say certain things. And I just find that interesting now how God, and I think in life, part of it we is miss out when we are not really honorable, because part of honor is love, that you're willing to overlook people flaws, their sins. And if, like Unika was saying, if it is you can't do that sometimes with somebody who you love so much, many times it affect all your different relationships, and you wouldn't even understand why. It's because you can't even treat somebody with love. A matter of fact, many times people who like that, sometimes they love conditionally. From the moment something happened, the unforgiveness is triggered back and is mean something to them in their mind. You understand? Because they have certain walls put up in their heart, and so when somebody even act like suspicious or something, it is mean more in the relationship. They could tend to move at distance, they could move a certain way, and really and truly they love you conditionally, and they don't allow certain walls to come down because they don't ever want to feel like how they feel. Because part of unforgiveness is you're protecting something inside of you, right? You don't want to expose something, and many times you hold up a wall inside of you. So it's important. And now the reason why I talk about that is interesting. My video was based on the same thing. I didn't give David that video though.
Oh.
It was supposed to be about forgiveness. I wanted to try something here today. That, you know. But anyhow, I wanted to wing something here today. But I just find it interesting that the same topic I talk about was to do with forgiveness. And I just wondering, like, if God,
If God what?
he really wanted somebody to hear something today about something like that, because it's something real that people deal with in the personal life. And we see people struggling, like Onika said, in many different. As a matter of fact, Jesus, one command he gave us is actually to forgive. It's not if you should, or like you could just get away with it. When you see, actually say when you stand and praying, he say you have to forgive people. And if it is while you're praying, you know somebody, the opposite way have an authority. You should go and reconcile with the person. I don't know if that's we are common thing with believers, but you wanted to say something?
No, I would say I was dealing with issue of forgiveness, unforgiveness, I think. And the interesting thing is not even to a person, but to an institution. That was the interesting thing.
With that institution?
Yeah.
I like how you're talking in the past. I like that.
Of course.
Okay.
I like that.
So you forgive?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But it was interesting. I don't think I ever experienced it like that before, to be honest. Like how I was feeling it for some time. There's a mixture of reasons, but with it, I got thoughts that I never got before. And I was able to understand certain things a little better on both ends. How it feels to be in the situation, hurt and not want to, but then understand what it is due to you when you hold on to the unforgiveness is a very toxic thing to environment to be in personally. So it's something that I'm thankful I had the Lord to be with me with it, So
maybe you want to answer Sherry's question now? How do you honor a parent who doesn't want to be honored? I don't know if it's Sherry, maybe while Mark answer, maybe you could say what to you is honor in that kind of like what it is you say. Well, we're not trying to honor my parents. I mean, it might be you who want the answer, right? But they're saying like, what does that mean when they say I want to honor my parents? And
true.
Because like I share something simple, just like loving them and respecting them is like honoring somebody,
It depends, right? But I working with a scenario where you and your mom had a argument, and she don't even want to have anything to do to you. She don't want to speak to you or anything like that. How you honoring somebody that you cannot physically communicate with them? I would say in your heart, you could forgive, like truly forgive, and pray for the person, and release it to God is one way you could do it. Also, you could try maybe a gift or something to just express to the person, even though they might reject it. I think it will be a unique situation with you and the Lord, but in your heart, I think really forgiving truly is a way to honor the person and pray for them.
I think a good way to honor them let's say the scenario that Mark just gave where they don't want to talk to you is by not dishonoring them.
Yeah.
So you don't go around telling people,
True.
My mother, she don't want nothing to do with me, and she's this, and my mother this, and my mother.
Yeah. Because
right?
I was going to say the best way to do it is by
to not dishonor. So it
be
means
disrespectful about them.
Yeah. So it's even though your mother or your parent, whichever they have real issues, and maybe they cussing you up, maybe they give you the bad end of the stick, that kind of thing. How you could honor them is by not being dishonorable about their, like spreading things about them, talking about them in that kind of way.
Yeah.
You keep that kind of thing to yourself. And when you see them, you be respectful. We don't have to be friends to be respectful. I'm respectful to strangers. On the street, if I walk in an elevator, I would say good day. So if you don't want to be close to me, you can't force a relationship with somebody. True. But I could be respectful, guys. There are people in the studio here that really tries to trip you up,
It's not me this time, people. That's
people behind the scenes, right? Just be respectful. But another thing I think that's really important.
What posting up videos and status about them?
That's mad. That's crazy. That's dishonoring your parents. That's dishonoring.
Put up a status for them?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a bad status. Like
Just some status
that's
you fall out on,
dishonoring.
you know?
That's dishonoring.
Well,
That
it's vast, you know, that's the generation. Is
Yeah.
anytime they follow with somebody, you could see somebody's status and know what
Yeah.
is going on.
Yeah.
You can know if somebody going to a banker, you can know everything about somebody's status apparently
Sometimes.
these days.
yeah.
And they delete the profile picture too.
Yeah.
Blank.
Yeah. And this put that's a new thing.
Sometimes if something happen,
Yeah, I realize
the
that.
profile picture gone.
Or they put up little subliminal messages in the pictures and all kind of thing. Anyway, what I was going to say, oh my gosh, it was important. About the parents. Right. There are some parents that are so toxic and dangerous that it's better that you stay away from them.
Yeah.
Because every time you're in their presence, you either leave feeling worse, you feel they say things to you, they try, and they don't respect you. So I think even though you were, especially as an adult, a child, even though you're still a child to them, or not a child, sorry, you're still their child. If they not respecting your boundaries, then it's don't give them the right to just barge in your life. And so let's say they your parents cuss, right? And they come over by you and your children there and they cussing. You say, no, mommy, daddy, if you cannot come in my house, my children don't hear obscene language from me. They're not going to hear it from you. So if you cannot come here and respect my rules, then you can't come. That is an example of not dishonoring. People might think, well, no, I can't tell my parents that. Of course not. You know, so some parents, it might be best you stay away from them for your own sake and your grandchildren's sake. And yeah.
True.
I think it's important that you said that too, Nix, because I think sometimes somebody may view something like that as not honoring your parents.
Not at all.
The fact that you actually mentioned if it's healthier for you to actually be distant from them, like you could honor your parents from a distance.
From a distance,
yeah,
yes.
they're
Correct.
still honor. You could still honor them, and you don't have to necessarily be in their life. But obviously, that will depend on everybody's situation.
Correct. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna continue with Cherie's message here, and I want to say a special good night as well to Cherie, because Cherie is my best friend. So she said, so long story short, I have forgiven my dad for everything that went down, but he's always running from things I would try to do to keep him close and reconcile.
Well, I guess like Onika said, you can't force a relationship, but
Yeah.
it's good that it's commendable that you actually still
Trying,
want to.
yeah.
So that's why you love people. Sometimes I love them from a distance. Sometimes pick up a phone call, I call them ever so often.
Yeah.
I think give people the space and also show you can figure out ways to love them. Like you might know something your father like, you buy it for him, you do so. You build I think the problem is not necessarily what is you have to try to figure out how to build a relationship. I would think that is more the part of it, because if it is you say you're free or want to spend time with him, whatever the case may be, and just maybe how to figure out how to build a relationship, or even if it's possible, because some situations are not maybe possible at the point in time. So it's cool, but not something like that is the case. So just figure out the person, you know.
Yeah.
Think of any relationship that's broken. Sometimes it could take time, you know, to heal and mend, and what's good is you love your father. So it's not anything you do, it wouldn't be out of our bad vibes, or you know what I mean. So it's just a simple some steps you have to make, and I think you'll get there, you know, and just walk with Christ and walk in God's love, and you would figure things out. God will help you to because the Bible actually tells us we have a ministry of reconciliation. That is what God called us to do. He didn't call us to just, you know, just pray. He actually wants us to reconcile people to each other and also to Him.
Yeah.
You know, so that it's actually a ministry we have. This is a gift from God to be able to figure out things. The Holy Spirit here to help us, because you know you read the Bible and you see Noah. What would make his son go and but you know, tell him daddy naked, come and see, like, you know, what would make you rather than go and cover him up, and it's actually a form of dishonor that happened in the early stages. So it's important now as children we cover our parents' issues, like what Onika was talking about. You know, to be spreading everything that happened. Is one thing to say you need help,
Right.
is the next thing to be saying, you know, dishonoring them in a kind of way where, you know, they feel, because it's a natural part of a relationship, right? That very thing would actually push away maybe the person from wanting to help or to figure things out. But yeah, I don't know if you want to take it away, Eva.
Yeah. Before we go on to my actual topic, I think sometimes too, with honoring your parents, I think what could happen is you may be honoring your parents, but because of the way they're receiving it, you're not getting the response or the reaction you want out of them. You might think you're doing something wrong or you're not actually honoring them. So I think it's really based on situations and your actual relationship with your parents. You would have to kind of feel it out and really allow God to guide you and discern in your spirit like what really going on here, and just honestly, especially in a situation like that where the person is not receptive, it's really just for you to persist and do what you can on your end and with God to truly continue to, because even in that it could bring even more unforgiveness, because you might feel like, well, I'm doing all of this and it's not working out, it's not going anywhere. I'm adult now, I'm trying, and but it's important for you to recognize that as well and continue to forgive and just to continue to truly love, which is it could be very difficult, but it could be done with God. Yeah. So let me say goodnight very quickly to Faith Barnett and Lisa Beckles. Guys, anybody else that's viewing, you all feel free to comment, ask a question if you would like to. We really like chatting with you all, and I guess we're gonna go to my video now. Guys, you're ready for my video?
Yeah, I think they're ready for you, Eva.
There we go.
I'm looking forward to this.
Why?
I don't know, just see it.
Yeah,
I was looking forward to my own.
You should look forward to it because it's coming from me.
I know this guy, so I know he's talking about
we
money
talk about
and
money,
different things.
finances,
Yeah. Alright, so the video start, but we're not hearing anything, so start
It was playing, I think, but it was very
Outside.
muffled. Yeah.
When people get married, what do they do with their finances? How do they just suddenly combine everything?
Yes.
They do?
Yes.
And like split everything right down the middle?
No. You combine everything. There's no middle. The preacher didn't say, and now you're a joint venture. He said, and now you're one.
So what if one person makes more than the other, like?
A partnership. You're a marriage. There is no... Let me give you an example, okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
My wife has not had an earned income for 30 years. She stayed home with our children.
Nice.
I do not have an income. We have an income. It's as much hers as it is mine. Spiritually, morally, and, by the way, legally.
Okay.
And so it's our income, and she and I
think that what I
sit down.
want to
Were
hear,
she
right?
to earn an income, it would be put in a pile with mine, and I don't get more votes if I make more money.
Oh, okay.
We both have we love each other. We are going to decide about
She sound like she was
here's
crying,
my pronouns here. We,
Say, "I
our,
call
not
this man."
yours, mine. It's not my car, your car. Now, we do say that's her car because she drives that car most of the time, but she's more than welcome to drive any car we have. I'm more than welcome to drive any car we have. It's not titled exclusively to her name or to my name. It's ours. We own everything. The only thing that is not ours is if the dog poops on the floor, that's my dog.
I feel
But
you, brother.
other than that, we share it.
All righty.
So, see, if you change your language like that, what it forces you to do is it forces you to set goals together instead of having independent goals. Marriages are always growing together or they're growing apart.
What was the last thing you said again? Sorry.
Marriage is always growing together or growing apart.
Apart.
Oh, okay. Marriage today growing together with it?
No, generally he said
Always, I
it's
think.
either always growing together
or
or
growing
growing
apart.
apart.
Okay, cool. That's what yeah. So you got Eva.
Yes, so basically, I mean, he covered a lot there, even though it's a very short video. But personally, I mean, now that I am married, I have my views on finances. And it just happened that I share his views on finances. But I have noticed especially now that I'm married and these conversations come up in public forums, people do not agree with this.
No, not people.
Nah, they don't.
Like hands down, they don't agree with it. And I hear different things raised, and I actually want to ask you all, what are your takes on it? Because okay, so for example, one thing that was raised was if the person has kids before the marriage. So we married, you had, let's say, 3 kids before, and we now have 1 child. Like, how does that happen? How was your take on it with regards to sharing finances? is it that you should split or is it that you shouldn't split it? Because my personal view is that you shouldn't split it. Because at the end of the day, I think if I marry this person, I'm marrying into whatever. I am accepting you. I'm accepting your children. I'm accepting your debt if you have any debt. Everything that comes with finances. Because just as I think a lot of times what happens is deeper than money. From me talking to people, it's deeper than money. It is
fair?
issues. I don't think it's just fair. I think when people get married now, they are not truly sacrificing. They're not willing to sacrifice self. They're not willing to give all. They're not willing to love
willing to
unconditionally.
become one.
Yeah, they're not willing to love unconditionally.
Where's
And I
love?
think that's where the divide comes up where and I could understand as a human how it can be hard to say, okay, I've done X, Y, and Z. Let's say you're going into a marriage and you have certain assets and the person doesn't. I could see how you could feel like, okay, I've done this and this is what I have. You've lived your life. But at the same amount of time that I live, more or less, whatever the case is, and you're bringing nothing into the marriage. I could see how it could be a struggle, but at the end of the day, to me, when you get married, you are choosing this. Nobody tell you to go and marry that person. Nobody tell you to choose this person. That was your choice. So my point of view is that you take this and you have to be willing to sacrifice self. You have to be willing to compromise and give everything that you have to this person because you are now one. Children or no children. So that was one of the major things that came up. It was actually a conversation and work, right? So the person they're not even married yet, but we are talking about when they do get married. The person has, I think, like 2 children outside of marriage, and they have one. So the person was basically saying that with regards to finances, one of the persons will now have to give a certain amount of money. And why should my money that I am making have to go towards feeding or supporting or whatever these 2 other children that you have before me? Like, what I have to do with me, it have nothing to do with me.
But I hope they don't get married.
And truly, it is a tricky situation, especially if
Not tricky.
if it's tricky, especially in the case with this person, because they were saying that their relationship, as in the person with the pre-existing children, they don't have the best relationship with the parents, with the other parents.
The other parent.
The other party.
Right.
There's so many parties involved here. So because of these things, you can see how this person might try to manipulate. But at the end of the day, my point of view was, you are still choosing this. This is what you're choosing because something that it was a real heated discussion. Something that I brought up to the person. I said, okay, so let's just say this person becomes a millionaire tomorrow. And this person tells you, okay, so you stay home. I'm going to provide for you and all the children, our children. You don't have to work anymore. And I said to the person, I said, would you still go to work and say your money is your money and no, his money is his money? Are you going to reject his money at that point? And the person paused and they said yes. But in reality, you are not. You just realize that, okay, you're wrong in what you're saying. Or, you're wrong in what you're saying. So you had to go down, die hard. But the reality is, no, you're not going to do that. If the person becomes a multi-millionaire, you're not going to say, okay, my money is my money and your money is your money. So you will be a millionaire and I'm going to be a pauper. No, you're not going to do that.
Of course not.
So and it was a real heated discussion. So I want to know from you all.
Living 50-50 then,
Exactly. So I want to know from you all, what are your views on, like, especially in a scenario like this where it have children and that kind of thing, yeah. Neeks.
Well, I agree with him 100%. But I do think it's easier for somebody in my position where Kerwin was, when we got married, earning significantly more than me, right? The tradition is that the man making the money and the woman, right? Yeah. Not that she not making money, but you more see the man as the one, right? Mm-hmm. So it's easier in that way for me to reap the benefits of him, marrying him, right? Nobody looks at that and scorns that. Nobody looks at that. That's normal. You know, hear what they will tell you, girl, you're GT, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not, now you're in a better position financially. And in my marriage, that is how it has been. Just what he say, right? My pile might be this might be my contribution, but still everything mixed up together, right? There is no divide, right?
Yeah.
And I don't see why it should be different. If, let's say, I had a child or two before, and I come and I'm married, and I have 2 children, and then we have another one, like your friend scenario. If you agree to marry this person and you are minding their children, you have to treat those children like your own.
Exactly.
Like your own. It's not supposed to be any different. I'm not saying it's going to be a smooth transition, but it should be your goal that I want to treat these kids just like my child, and I provide for them as if it's my child, right?
Why can't I have
And
this
so-
laugh on his face?
Yeah.
Because I want to spark some fires, but good.
Yeah. So, but I agree. And I mean, that's how it is in my home. And I think that's how God meant it to be. I don't see how you could become one with everything else but finances.
But finances,
Oh,
exactly.
everything else, but
But he bring up a good point, though. Legally, it is that way still.
Yeah,
Like, if it is
correct.
your husband going debt, the bank can come back and take key things alone, right? Is
Yeah.
everybody going to suffer?
when you
the-
sign a marriage certificate, you're making a legal agreement, and your assets become one. The judge not saying it's yours and mine, and so
Exactly.
So, yeah, I guess to your point with relationships, obviously, you had to know the relationship in, right? I guess in everything, you're budgeting regardless, right? And when it comes to food, I could see it have some complications, but it's not necessary. That's what they're talking about. Like, if somebody have an issue with money, like bad spending or something, you might want to get them a separate card to use, and when that's done, it's that things, that things you figure it all right. But here's my question I want to ask, right? Along the lines of all of this, right? Do you think men generally have that problem or women generally have that problem?
women have that problem, not men.
What problem?
Like this problem with finances.
My
splits
money and
different
your
thing,
money.
My money, your money. Do you think men more have that problem or women more have that problem?
No, woman, but only when they actually
They
make
earning more.
money.
Yeah.
Or
Or
they
they
earning a
make more money,
significant
exactly, yeah.
amount. If they earning a significant amount, all of a sudden
So
the
here's
woman
my
is your
question,
money and
right?
my money.
Why is that? Why you all think a woman would have a problem? Because a man necessarily might always have that problem, right? Where he might quicker have that money if he is a gold digger or something. He will figure out like, he trying to figure out how not to end up with a gold digger, right? But my point is this, right? On the opposite side, though, why women would have an issue with saying, well, my money is my money and your money, and they're trying to separate their finances. Why y'all think is that? I genuinely have a question. I really would like to know, in your opinion, why y'all think so. Like, are your friend,
I'm
you know?
genuinely thinking.
Yeah.
I think this is my opinion. I'm not saying this is fact, right? Well, this is what the show is about,
Obviously,
opinion,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right? As I said earlier, I think women, not only women, society, men are viewed as a breadwinner, a protector, some sort, that vibe, right? And I think in a woman's mind, you grow to actually, we grow up to believe that you'll get a man and he will take care of you. This is my opinion, right? That's just how it's been pushed over the years. Agreed, right? You'll get a good man, he will take care of you, right? And so when let's say you develop yourself, you educate yourself, you end up making a lot of money, and you marry somebody who is earning significantly less or none at all, right? You fall in love with the person, but that's the case, right? I think for the woman, there's an element of, this is me, I think an element of fear and a lack of trust. So they feel like they have to, this is me trying to be in their position because I've never been, right? I think they feel they have to protect because there's a fear that, okay, if I stop earning, there's no backup.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So if today or tomorrow something happen or I can't work or something, there's no backup. So it's like I am my own financially. I don't know.
So,
Well, I was thinking as well, when I get married, I was kind of like unemployed, I would say. Technically. Unemployed.
Technically unemployed.
but you were self-employed then, but go ahead.
I was self-employed and
Right.
unemployed. I remember Ava, she told me she want to have a talk with me. So we sit down in my car. And
I do remember this.
yeah, I remember because it
It's
was.
how Ava doesn't remember nothing.
Anything.
She
Oh
didn't
my
remember
gosh,
jacking
what's
up
wrong
on the
with
wall
me?
or anything.
Yeah. And she was like,
Why
well,
do you remember that?
Go ahead.
Sorry,
And
Mark.
she wanted to talk about finances. And
When you was married, you mean?
right
Before.
before.
Right before. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she was saying, well, in her mind,
Watch Eva feed.
I
yeah,
really try to remember this conversation.
she was saying she believed there's an important thing to be on the same page on before you're married. And she was telling me that she believes that everything should be ours. Like, she was saying, like, even if, like, well, she was working, she is still working. She's still working. But she was saying that even though it's her salary, it's like our income, right? And well, she had a lot more things going for her. I wouldn't go much more into it, but basically, she brought a lot of things to the table. I brought good looks.
Which table
Oh Lord, look.
So you was the catch.
I was surprised. I'm
Right,
surprised.
good.
But it was I wasn't thinking that way, honestly. In my mind, I was thinking, well, she have her things, I have mine. But she told me, like, literally everything being joined, like joining all bank accounts and these things. And I thought about it and I said, it's a good deal. This is not a bad deal.
Oh God. Sign me up.
I'm joking. I believe it was a part. Honestly, it blew my mind. But I told myself, you know, she was saying that we won, and she would like us to be one in finances and to, you know, be one in everything, everything we own and these things. And I agreed. I mean, there's a level. Honestly, as a man, it felt humbling because so I could, as a woman, right, you could feel like, well, I have my own home, I have money coming in. So, babe, I have my house and my money and think, what should I do with it? Like, you know, you have I was feeling like I just walking into a kingdom and I have say and stuff.
She gave you a rule.
Yeah. So it was a little awkward, and I being honest, it felt awkward, like to watch your house. So it is our house. You know, even in our home, I would say she did way. I would say maybe. I was gonna say percentage, maybe 25. I would say 75.
You did one of the most important things, but
Yeah.
you put assessment. That will only crap this book.
Kyle brought up a good point there because I wasn't really working, so the house needed assessment. I tried to build it myself. I did it crappy, but that's what the assessment is about, right? But where I didn't have money, I actually work. I dig, I build, I learn how to think blocks. Is all kind of different things I went through.
Right.
But it was awkward from the man position, feeling like I basically kind of just getting all these things. But on her end, I could tell that she really loved me.
Yeah.
And she saw everything she had as, I want to bless Mark
Right.
with this. I've achieved these things. God have given me the wisdom to save, and because there's a lot of things that I was really bad with planning, saving, managing finances, and these things that she was way stronger in and did way more than I should have done. And that was an area in my life where God used her to actually help me. And I was humble enough to know that she knows something that I don't know in this area, and she was able to help me develop certain characteristics. She was patient with me. There were times that we went through real tough times in the marriage where finances and different things were concerned, and I saw God would have come through and in those areas. But it was basically her love is what allowed her to open up herself in that area for us to be one in that area.
Awesome. I still waiting to hear your opinion on the question I asked.
Do you think with the woman?
Because a lot of young
I
women
think-
now don't necessarily want to marry somebody when they're young because maybe the man not making as much money and thing now. But anyhow, good.
I think just let me try to remember the question. The question is
Shaka say GT.
why women? Why who's Shaka? I never
Joel.
saw that name before.
Joel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The question was why women have the
A more
approach
difficult
of
time with the splitting.
with splitting.
Yeah. Well, actually,
You mean
I
with,
think
with
it's
making
mine.
with joining? You
yeah,
mean
with joining.
not
I mean,
with
sorry, not
splitting?
splitting.
I think it has something to do with mindset. I think women probably go into a marriage thinking that a man should provide because I guess that's how it was some time ago. So they go into the marriage anticipating that and thinking, okay, so if you are supposed to provide for me, you're supposed to provide for me, and whatever money I make, it's for me. I've literally heard people
heard
say
many
that
women say
already.
that,
Whatever money I actually must be
What you
last,
make is
last
ours
month,
and what I make is mine.
last
I
month
always
my
say.
friend told me that, and I was actually trying to talk her out of it.
She married?
She said no.
Oh, okay.
She said
Well, she
what
money,
the
but go
what the money that the person makes is ours, the entire family, and the money that I make, it's for me. So I think if you go into a marriage like that, you have issue with your mindset, you have an issue with self, and I don't think you're truly ready to get married.
Yes, you shouldn't get married with that.
You're not
thinking
ready
at
to get
all.
married. You're
Yeah.
not ready to love that person. But that's where I think it stems from. A woman goes into a marriage anticipating that this person is going to provide for me, and this is how it should be.
Yeah.
It could have something to do with this whole feminist thing too. The whole mindset that women, this empowering thing, and I'm not saying that women not strong and women can't do certain things, but it takes you down, that feminist thing takes you down a road of believing in yourself, like you are the best thing on earth. And I think that is where that issue stems from. That is selfishness. Women probably tend to be more selfish in a
certain
marriage. They
areas.
tend to be more concerned with themselves than the family as a whole, or the husband and wife as a whole, because that's your thing, that's the man's thing, and I think that is where it stems from, to answer your question.
Okay. So basically, just asking, right? Women tend not to value men a certain way when they don't have something like that to bring to the table.
Yes, I do think so.
They
Not
place
all
a lot
women.
of value on what a man could bring financially. Yes.
Yeah, so that will catch us. So they don't value them as a person. They value what they offer in the context of.
No, not in all areas, but in the
Yeah.
area of finances, society has been brainwashed. But let's give the Bible some credit too. The Bible does say that a man needs to take care of his home, right?
Yeah.
It's a natural part. But women have been brainwashed, as I said, into this thinking that the man is the one that's supposed to provide, and so there's it's not stigma, it's not the word. Women.
Are entitled.
No, I think women. no. It's what women have been taught for centuries, guys. Let's be real. All in the back there who want to keep going.
No, but here what I'm saying. No, but we
It's-
can love
it's-
somebody, though.
I hear you. I hear you. But I hear you. But hear what women would say on the flip side, right? If you get married and you love me, you're supposed to want or should be able to provide for me.
Yeah, but that's the situation we in.
But my
So
question,
then you can't just add some. That's like, you know,
exactly, my question to a woman like that is why
Don't
you
get
marry
married.
me?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's it. Don't get married.
Well,
Why
that's
you
the
choosing
situation
that
we in now in the
person?
world. A lot of women don't really, they don't necessarily want to marry certain men because of.
And my question too is this not like how you and Mark sat down and had that conversation? Is that not a conversation that you have before you are married? That's something you
doesn't
need to
seem
sit
so.
and talk about. How we gonna deal with finances? How we, that you can't leave that up for grabs. You can't get married and say, okay, now let me figure it out.
I think some people are so caught up in the fairy tale of, oh, marriage, let's get married, let's do this thing, let's walk around the aisle, let's have this big wedding, that when the time come and the wedding finish and you living together and a bill come, it's only then you realize, okay, so this is real, this is real life, and money how to spend it. So how we gonna do this? And I think that's exactly
Who pay any light bill?
yeah.
Who pay any light bill? Me?
And for example,
I'm
that
making
is
as much as you.
exactly that is, and that's actually one of my points because let's say let's forget bills because bills is bills, right? A vacation. So instead of when you're going on a vacation, you calculate. Okay, let's check how much the flight is, the accommodations. Okay, let's split that down the middle. You put here how do
Or
you
you pay
live?
for your ticket, I pay
Yeah,
for mine.
how do you
I
live
don't-
like
I
that?
don't know how that
Okay,
works.
so let's add children to that vacation. Now you married, both of you married, both of you have children together. If you have one child, we're gonna take that one child tickets
split
and
them down the
accommodation and split it down the middle. How do you want to? How is that your goal? And I think, I mean, honestly, sometimes I try to think about it and process and say, okay, Eva, are you naive? But I don't see how, if it were me in that situation, so let me talk from my point of view, my perspective. If it were me, I don't think I'll be happy like that. Because then you know what would happen? If you're in a marriage like that, you're gonna be watching every single thing that the person does. Because if it comes down to that, if like you're gonna say, okay, why this person put this money here towards this when they could have been doing something here, and you're gonna be watching every single thing.
Which, let me tell you something, happens in many marriages.
Yeah.
I know, Eva, I deal with it. Not, I mean, I'm doing personally, counseling people. Like, people, like, where they want access to each other's, like, online banking. Not because, I mean, nothing wrong with having access to each other. But the reason is to see, well, why you spend so
What
much
you-
money here? Why you spend so much money on this? Or why, you know what I mean? And it's like you're questioning everything. And I don't know how people could live like that. That, but at the same
But if
time,
somebody's a bad spender, though, you
right?
should
And now I'm
understand,
gonna
yeah.
say what Kyle made a point. Like for me, I mean, I'll be a little transparent. Early in our marriage, go and take away the credit cards. He have when I say take away, he have a lot of credit cards because of his U.S. thing, right?
Yeah.
They
Selling out the
give
man business, but go
they
ahead.
no. They literally, you all know how it is going in the U.S. They
Yeah,
give
yeah,
away
give away
cards. It's like
cards.
where does come? They send you
Yeah.
one. He would either just destroy them or whatever he do, obviously, right? But in the earlys, it would be like a lot of the cards would be in my name too,
Yeah.
right? He not giving me that. He's a smart man.
Yeah.
He not giving me 4 or 5 credit card in my bag.
Yeah.
He not stupid.
Yeah.
So he'd be like, this. He would say, listen, for emergency. He said, let me define what emergency is, right?
Exactly.
Because I might say, well, my shoe heel break and it was an emergency, right? So, you know, I'm keeping this card here, but he wouldn't. And I mean, I understand why he would do that. Because I'm not thrifty and I do. He would, you know, save and try to think and I would spend, right? And so I cool with that, right? And the same thing with the opposite way. If the man was the one who was, you know, kind of quick on the draw when it comes to spending money, nothing wrong with the woman saying, well, because she's trying to do the best for her home, right?
Yeah.
I said, like, honey, you can't go and just fork out $200.
And I think that's like the point where that's like a separate
Yeah.
issue. That's
Yeah.
not necessary where it is people feel like
Right, yeah.
everything's separate and
Yeah.
basically living out
It's
separate.
different. You're
Yeah.
just trying to make sure your budget and you're sticking in the budget. So you might have to be behind the person a little more. That's all, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's a sad it's a sad reality though that most women, as you said, in a position where they are the more financially stable one or earning a lot more, somehow they're not that willing as you, Eva, to say, you know, it's all
I think
one.
you come down, you had to value somebody more than that.
True.
Especially if you're married in a relationship with them. Even if you never talk about where you reach that point where, because like I said, they will always find an issue afterwards. Like, will always try to bring up some kind of issue because basically there's a reason why you view the person that way, right?
Yeah.
So hence the reason you always keep trying to make it into an issue and it would actually drive you further apart than
Yeah.
bring
Yeah.
you closer
Yeah.
in a relationship, you know? You'd actually find a fault all the time with the person.
Yeah.
Because I can guarantee you, if you're with somebody who maybe song in the mind, like not how you gonna say it, but like a no good nothing, whatever. Like a man who just don't really
for
care,
nothing.
good for nothing, yeah. But if you're really with somebody who trying and different things, he feeling the pressure too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it might,
For
and
sure.
then especially for a man, it might be an unspoken pressure. Like obviously, he don't want to bring it up and
Yes.
say something. He might be sitting on the car crying, doing what
It's
I mean,
true.
And
Agreed.
because it's for many years, women never understood what a lot of men went through financially. Like a woman, like all they say, that have a fear of doing this and everything on my shoulder. For many years, that's how men feel. Like, they have everything and they go and they're watching the trend and they women might have just think, well, men just want a break. But don't understand everything that is on their shoulder, how they feel, they come home and that's why you say, I'm sit down for a little while. But we talked about that last hour. But my point is now, it would seem like certain aspects that some people could deal with certain pressure a little differently.
Yeah.
And that's because I think sometimes also is to how we value each other. So I think it's important that people find value. Especially if you're getting married, if it is like you're saying a boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever, right? You don't give people the luxury of some things. When you're married, because I explained that to somebody else asked me the question, like, the man have different house and whatever, and they were moving together, but they're not married, right? And he's asking me, and I say, well, he should pay rent. Don't let him come and if it is your that's his job, obviously I can't stop you from whatever they're doing, right? But he should pay. Don't let him be making all this money off of you, because what you gonna do this puppy house to thing. And for rent now, but he gonna be making any money, but then moving in together.
And when he made the rent money,
you catch where I'm coming from, like, because people might be thinking so. You know what I mean? So, but the point is, that's part of a marriage that there's a lot of blessing with it. So it's important that you just don't live your life anyhow. Get married, do the right things. Don't just, because some people they want to complain when things happen and they don't realize it's a blessing to be in a marriage. And I guess like Eva saying and Nika saying, they could have faith on both parties that when they're afraid things to work out, but that is where love, you had to figure out life with love to grow close to each other, to grow every day, right? Because there are many other areas, sicknesses, different things you could have fear about with different things. Having a child, you could have a fear. But somehow when it is together, things would eventually work out once the goal is to be together, right? I would hope so, right?
Certainly. Talk about it before, though. Don't
of course,
Finances is something that you really need to sit and have a talk about. How are we going to run our household?
Yeah.
Cannot leave that up for grabs because you might end up getting a shock when you get married.
So about when you get married, and I want to tell you about what chores to do too. You say, you sit down and talk, right? Because you say both of us living together. Just want to have conversations about chores.
We can have a conversation about chores too.
That is a conversation you
Nothing
can have.
wrong with that.
Because if you leave it unsaid, I mean, I don't want to go off, right? If you leave it unsaid, for some people, the man will automatically think, well, that is you.
Sure,
You're
right.
doing all the housework.
Sure, right.
And the woman thinking, I gonna get help. And then when you get married, you realize he not every Saturday morning, he there playing game and you scrub in the bathroom, right? He played goal and you scrub in the bathroom. You say, but wait, this is what my life gonna be, right? And so
That's why I sign up for.
so yes, that is something you should discuss before. But if you're being real, you want to get married and you and your fiance talking, he would tell you, yes, of course, we share the chores.
True.
Duh.
Well,
Who could that say?
That ain't gonna happen.
You gotta be able to read between lines.
Yeah.
But this is a serious question. Is the more you talk about certain things, is marriage very complicated? I'm married.
Yes.
I just talking I just really asking questions.
It could be, but it could not be. You can make it more complicated than it needs to be. I think the humans involved in the marriage is what makes it more complicated. Yeah, I don't know what you're saying.
Monica, want to say something?
No, I mean, it can be. That's the correct answer.
Well, everybody's situation is different, right? Like her situation is clearly different than your own, right? So
I was
it's
not
what
gonna
people
say
sign up for.
it can be, but it
You gotta be
really,
realistic.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the major problems in marriage.
People have unrealistic expectations.
Because I find it strange, right? Like, that's going to throw this out there. I find it strange that, when it was back then, your man had to provide and do everything, and people used to get married younger then.
True.
Yeah.
Now that both parties doing everything together, how come they can't even get married younger?
Correct.
Because it's supposed to be a little easier financially, right?
True.
Because people consumed with self now.
And social media has made people deceive people.
Sure,
And people
right.
think they have to have all these things together before, and I had to do all this before I get married, and I had to have this, and I had to that, I experience this, and instead of saying I want to grow with this person, you get married in your early 20s and say we working together.
Because it's really like a real, like, well, Eva saying, like a real selfishness, right? Because somebody would imagine when you're young, right? The girl move out and they're on their own. They would gladly pay a rent of 2,000 something for themselves, right?
Yeah.
But they get in a relationship, get married, and now the man can't pay it. It is he can't add to it. Is maybe you could do it for yourself, you know what I mean? But So it's just, I guess it's come back to
Understood.
value.
Yeah.
But anyhow, they move on to the
True.
next. Or no, before you move on, you want to just read some of the comments, I guess,
Yeah,
like what people
they
are
could
saying.
definitely read.
So we won't get lost in all the conversations that are
Let's see
happening.
what we have here.
Sherry, real talking.
Yeah, Sherry voted right now. Okay, we're going down. Crystal Martin, good night to you, Crystal, my darling. Crystal says I don't get more votes if I make more money. People now don't hear that. Kelsey Marcel, good night to you. Kelsey says I like his views on things. Let me see. Lisa, good night to you as well, Lisa. Lisa says so everybody going down. Like, obviously, it has to be something we were talking about. I think something Kyle said. Crystal says woman for sure. Why they earn more. Joseph Melville, what if the bonus children's father are well off? And he contributes a lot to them. Should you not focus on your child? What if the bonus?
Well, the children was not your children in the marriage.
What he
like,
mean is, don't put as much into her child. Let's say because their father have money. Nah, it don't work so.
No.
Once you have somebody who have a need.
Yeah.
That's right. Obviously, if somebody have a better off, then
Yeah.
that's life. But
It don't work so.
wherever the person need, you know, operate. Because obviously there's certain dynamics that we can talk about with that, right? Because people just get child support. All that kind of different things that's coming and.
You guys see a video in America, a man brought McDonald's for his one child, but the lady have other children. And she threw it away and said, you can't bring for your child, you bring for all.
Well, that's the point that's when I bring up, right? That some, because like they are dying quick, right? If it is somebody on the opposite side, right, they get child support, right? Now, let's say you're making a decent, both of them have a salary where it kind of like covered to a point everything. It means that, so you don't really have extra, but now remember that money is extra. And if the other party on the other side, say you taking, like say, $1,000 or $1,500 and paying and mining your two other children with it. What?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so that's where it can be a little tricky, I guess, certain. On the other party, though, you know, can feel, you know, a man can feel like you need this money to mind your other two children.
True.
Crystal Martin says, because I guess in a woman's mind, she thinks she should not be the main provider. And if she is, then she shouldn't be taken advantage of. Also, mothers sometimes push the talk, don't mind no man.
Yeah.
Lisa, you brought good looks, bro. Lol, well, yes. But seriously, create a approach.
She agree.
Thanks, Lisa.
Brenda Bishop, good night to you, Brenda. Let me see what else. Shaka, you all said Shaka was
Joel.
Good night to you, Joel. Yeah, Shaka. Mark Shaka said GT. Let me see. Cherie said a man will go with a broke woman faster than a woman will go with a broke man. That is so much. There's so much truth to that. Why it's like that?
David, love your comment, Cherie.
Why it's like that? But yes, I agree. Women do have these issues more than men do. Coming on to the end here, Lisa. Oh, I never thought of this matter of how do you organize finances, vacation. Kerwin is so smart. Yes, Kyle is smart. Vacation, it have many other things. Very cool. Like, for example, the purchase of a home, all these kind of things, I think is really things that you have to ask yourself. And I think especially for people who getting into marriage or probably
At least because you're courting somebody else.
even if you're already married.
She never thought about this as one, and if she courting somebody.
No, she's meant specifically vacation.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to.
That's why I mentioned the other thing, that something I just talked about, like purchasing a home or something. Anyway, seriously, you guys, Kyle being out of time and as usual.
I'm not being serious.
But very quickly, I just want to encourage anybody who is planning on getting married or is married to truly assess these things. Do a financial plan, a budget, set goals, because it's a serious thing. I think finances in a lot of marriages, finances could actually cause you to separate. Because it's so important, because it's so serious. So I think it's really important for you to really, as Nick said, really have this discussion beforehand. And truly, when you're going into a marriage, truly be willing to give of yourself, and truly love unconditionally. Because that's what marriage is. The Bible says, the two shall become one. And the same as Dave Ramsey said in the video, you are really becoming one. So don't choose to become one in certain areas. You have to choose to become one in every area. And truly be selfless. Ladies, don't be selfish. don't be a gold digger. Right. We're going on to Nick.
Yeah. Is you?
Come to me.
Oh gosh, well, let's see what it is.
Like now.
Did I put my video?
Oh, yeah, let's see what it is.
Oh.
If you wanted to introduce
Nobody introduced their video. Nobody said anything before.
We just handed it over you to do your own thing.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah?
let's take it away, guys. Let's put up the video.
Let's remember.
Black people sold black people, white people just paid for it.
That's not the beginning, though.
My great grandmother
From the start.
was sold. Black people sold black people, white people just
Oh,
paid for it.
Okay.
My great grandmother was sold by her father to another black man, who then sold her to who became her husband and had kids. Not a white person in sight. Well, so while people are being stuck on, especially when I hear this dumb thing as reparations for slavery, I'm like, dude, slavery was everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
There was slavery in the Arab world, in the Persian world, in the Greek world, in Europe. White, blonde, blue-eyed Polish people were slaves to Germans. So white, blonde, blue-eyed Germans. So what are you talking about? Like slavery is something that only black... You guys play too much respect to racism.
Yeah.
If we were all white or we were all black, we're still going to discriminate
You know
against
what we
each other.
discriminate against? Eye color.
Thank you very
It's
much.
human nature.
It's human nature.
Yeah.
We'll find something, oh, your ear is too big. I tell people, as long as you're a competition, you're a threat. And as long as you're a threat, somebody will try to do something to remove you. It doesn't matter if you're white or black. And on the opposite side, as long as you can add value, doesn't matter if you're black or if you're white, you will be appreciated or recognized.
Well, I had to keep my mouth shut for a couple of minutes.
Why?
I just had to keep
But
my
you
mouth
don't
shut
fall in
for
one
a
of the
couple-
categories.
I don't know, but
When I saw the video, I was like, good thing is Nick's doing this.
No, yeah, so I saw that video this week and I thought it very interesting because he expressed my sentiments exactly. He said something that I always say. He said people give too much credit to racism. And I think what happened,
All right, Kanye.
especially black people, right? African people, because they walk around with a chip on their shoulder, right? Because they walk around thinking that they are, let's say, the inferior race. Maybe not so much in Trinidad, but like in a country where it's predominantly white or European, as the case may be, black people do, or African Americans, they do have a sense of, this is not my country, I'm not among. So they have kind of a chip, right, on their shoulder. If you are walking around with a chip on your shoulder and you still thinking about what happened to your ancestors in slavery, you will interpret people's actions as racism. It may not be racism. It could be somebody walking by who had a really bad day and they watch you funny, or they scrub their face, or you went in a store and the person talked to you how because they weren't having a bad day. But because you have this chip on your shoulder, you went and said, I went in a store today and they racist, they so, right? This is how they treat me. And I have seen this throughout my life where people would come and try to get you in agreement with them concerning racism. You don't find and thing, and when you go away, you don't find this is something and that. And I have not had the experience. And when I tell them, well, no, I have not experienced this traveling. I experienced more racism in Trinidad than abroad, right? Foreigners have only, when I travel, foreigners have only ever been respectful to me. I'm not looking for you to be my friend. They would say good morning, good afternoon. I've never felt like anybody is discriminating or treating me differently because I'm black. In Trinidad, however, you do feel, and it's not so much based on race, but more class. So if they perceive you to be of a certain class financially, if you don't look a certain way, they treat you differently. So as I am, if I go, and guys, I have proven this in my life, 51 point whatever years of life, right? When you dress and carry yourself a certain way, you get more respect. There's a place I used to go on the Eastern Main Road in Aruka to buy food, right? I don't go anymore just because the parking bad, right? But, you know, it's when you run out your house, you're looking anyhow, and you go and you buy food, right? One day I went, after a meeting or something I had. So I had on a jacket. I was looking like, now come out. The girls inside there treated me as if they didn't know me. I don't know if they really didn't know me, because like when I run out for food, I literally run my house like however, right? Like whoever.
So it's be a different person.
Almost.
Oh, okay.
Like almost, right?
I understand.
I actually felt more respect from them. Right now, human beings are naturally, most people are respect of persons. They look at the outward. The Bible even says it.
Yeah.
Man looks at the outward, but God looks at the heart, right?
Yeah, because I know people like when they're in the mall and people just walk up to them, this ball, Ogie, and
Yeah. I'm so.
yeah, it is.
I know. You he trained that for it.
I don't believe all, yeah.
But go to the conversation now, please.
What that had nothing
I don't mean any. I just
Wow.
joking that.
All they
I
wrong,
understand
I'm
we
off
all
for that.
we always do those
You're
things. But
off
go ahead.
for that.
Humans do those things. But
Right?
go ahead. I don't know about we, but go ahead.
Anyway, right. So my point is, I think he's also said that in the video. He said that no matter what race you are, if you are bringing value to somebody, so let's say I am a black millionaire or entrepreneur, let's say I have some product or whatever, it don't matter, white people buy it, they're gonna respect me because I bring in something. You see value in me and whatever I'm bringing to the table, right? So I agreed with him 100% in that I honestly think people miss out also on good relationships. There are people who rather stay in their, I want to call it comfort zone where race is concerned when it comes to marriage. You hear them say, they say, we don't mix the cultures, right? And even friendships. There are people I know, I can't wait to hear Mark's views on this, right? I know you had some experience on something,
True.
But I feel
I want to hear my experience. But go ahead.
yes, sorry, it's true. Yeah. But because they have this thinking that how I gonna get along, what we have in common. I mean, and to me that's so foolish. Like I don't know how you could grow up in Trinidad and let's say you are African in Trinidad and you have no Indian friends. How? Like you never had David, you ever had an Indian friend? Right here. Right?
He had, anyhow, go ahead.
Oh gosh.
You see where hey.
I was always Kyle.
Yeah, boy.
Oh gosh, Roy. Oh gosh.
I use a wrong man for example.
Yeah, he gets you in like.
Okay. But you always see where I'm going, right?
Yes.
You see where I'm going.
Agree, right?
And I think that as the gentleman said as well, where people think that they owed something by the white man or the European or whatever the case may be because of the years of slavery that their ancestors went through. What slavery you went through? How?
They feel they owe it because it was promised to them. But go ahead.
How?
A kind of mule they was going to give them. They
Right.
was going to give them land. But go ahead.
Yeah. But
True.
and I hear people have family members who live abroad and they would speak as though it's the worst thing, the racism and they keeping the black man down, but yet all of them successful and driving cars I would never drive in my life. So I'm confused. I'm like, if you're suffering so much, how you living in this house and how you driving this car and where's the suffering? You're not suffering,
Yeah, better you become the victim. But anyway, go ahead,
Yeah.
because they're living better.
They living great, and so I just think that, and in Christ is even more so. There's no such thing as race in Christ. The Bible says there's no Jew, no Greek, no slave, no free or bond. All of us are one in Christ. And so when we come to Christ now, it's even more so. There's not supposed to be a division in the church. In Trinidad, I can understand.
So there's nothing like the black church and the white church.
Well, I was going to say,
okay.
in Trinidad,
Very.
I can understand in certain areas where church would be more predominantly East Indian because of where the church is located.
Correct.
But not because of the fact that,
Only those
types
types
are
are allowed.
or not allowed. Nobody would ever say not allowed. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or that there's a black church, so that you go in a church, and I've seen it in Trinidad. I've been in churches in Trinidad where you can't find one Indian person.
Serious?
Yes.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And it's not like Indians not in the area, but it's like an unspoken kind of thing. And I think that should never be. Now, I understand there's a difference in culture sometimes, but the Bible squashed that. Squashed that theory about culture.
But in Trinidad, there's racism. So
Yes, of course, there's
So,
racism.
I mean, I have
And in the
informal
church
religion.
as well.
Yeah, heavy
And in
form
the
of religion.
church.
That's do like to
Yes.
admit it. People don't like generally people can't really sometimes admit that they're racist. It's
Yes.
just some and I guess they even can't see it too.
Yes.
Yeah.
That they're racist. They
Yeah.
always have some kind of excuse or reasoning behind what they're saying. But I have a question, right? Do you all think all right, so like you watch racism real, right? So don't mistake what we
real.
saying. It's actually
Of course.
real. We know it have because you watch that like in Spain, like I also watch a lot of football and you see in Spain they actually be pelting, they be calling black people monkey.
Yeah.
They be doing things, so it's still real and it's engraved in certain societies still up to this day, right? Because I would assume there are certain parts of UK that do not have as much black people, right?
yeah.
So it seems still indoctrinated, I guess, when they grow up in our family, different things. And that's how it is. It's still. But do you all think black people can be, like we saying, is racist towards white people or other races?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course.
But-
Of course.
But and this
I
and,
know a man like that named Dr. Umar, but that's all I would say.
you didn't call your real man name, right?
Yes.
He's a doctor.
He probably openly
No, but
that
he's
way.
He's a
publicly
known man, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, but he,
Yeah, and he used to talk about black men do not be with white women because
The lineage.
Basic, yeah,
the
But that's why I was
shrine,
actually
yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
ask. That's why I was
Yeah.
gonna bring up the point that are those things
And-
racist?
and he was saying because if a black rich man and he talking about Kobe, he married a white woman and he passed away and now she have all the money.
Kobe
And,
wife wasn't white.
Well, she wasn't
She
black.
wasn't
Yeah.
black.
Yeah,
She wasn't
yeah.
white. Yeah.
got them kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But Chinese man call me a black monk here already.
You serious?
Chinese neighbor, yeah. I still like to climb.
You do him something.
Nah, I just always was climbing up and down the house, and I used to
Yours?
up the mango tree at the time. And he said, come down with the black monkey.
They probably call you a monkey because they climb.
Yeah, how I
I
climb.
like to ask that
yeah.
online though, in Trinidad, if you're from Trinidad, any part of the world, did you ever have an incident where somebody was racist towards you? Like I think it's normal, especially Trinidad and Tobago, because we real cultural that we have. It's not racist. What's the other word they would use is
Prejudice?
Yeah, have a little prejudice. That's what they were. All right, like when it is you're going to a Chinese restaurant and you be like tong 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 and you'll be getting.
Uh-huh,
They have these things where people
Become
do
like that kind of
No,
thing.
but it's a term that's
Stereotype?
used.
Is it stereotype?
Nah, it's
No.
a different word they use it for. It's not racism, they call it. They call it some, I can't remember what the other word, or they online, or they correct me what the word, right? Where you might say, well, certain people act a certain way, they have
like
traits.
white men can't jump.
Yeah, like
Right.
things like that.
Mhm.
They class certain things, you know?
White men can't jump.
The movie, there's a movie. It was all about, they used to say white men can't play basketball. What was he named? When I'm wrong, was he boy named now?
It's have plenty of them.
I don't know.
A white man start basketball, but anyhow.
Yeah.
That's-
Don't tell them black
wow.
people that to know.
but yeah, you all tell me online, right? But you wanted the story? I don't know. I really would like to know
Well,
that.
so my question is, have you experienced racism, or do you feel in any way uncomfortable at times because of your race, like out of place, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. I do. I've always had a way where I feel inferior growing up.
Because of your
In
color
Toronto,
of
who
your
just to be
skin?
like make it clear, because there's more Indian.
Yeah.
Because of the
African.
color of your skin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would feel it's an insecurity.
Right.
It's something I battle up to this day. Be honest. Yeah. When I go abroad and thing, and I do like to loiter, in stores and thing. Yeah, I just feel like I'm viewed as a criminal.
That's true.
It has been my. She could
Because
tell you.
sometimes we might be in certain places and he just be like, I don't want to stay here too long and I don't want to because and I was like, oh, you're not serious right now. We
Like-
just browsing or we just doing.
Like if I go in a store or grocery and I didn't thief anything, I have to walk out like I did not thief anything.
That real in your mind, but go ahead.
Yeah,
Because
well,
it come,
I'm glad he's
it
saying
come
this.
not too far. It come right in Hilo, Westmoreland. Me and David.
Calling the
I
people
call-
name.
calling in, yeah, it's Kylo now up again. It was one of my lows in Hilo. Me and David went in there.
He say you lose it.
There's highs and lows in there. Me and a guy went in there. First time, Porsche
You can't say the
grocery.
man name already.
Yeah. And so much cashiers, you know, that we do. He gone by one, I gone by one. You know, usually in the ghetto, one, you know, there's one cashier.
Well, it was moving suspicious, but go ahead.
Thank you.
He was by one, by one.
And all they was watching each other and giving right. Of course.
They will
Right.
come. And he's saying, "Nah, I said, come boy," and security watching me. I call him and he don't wanna come. So we gone outside. We get security call me and David pat down. They wanna search us.
His name.
Too late. He called it.
Yeah.
He well call up his name before.
And it had white people and thing shopping in the area, and we up getting pat down, and you could see the white people look on their face like, oh gosh, these boys are
These
gay.
black boys. They say the real thing. You know, that's not what you be
boys.
saying. These two black boys.
These black boys are, look at them. Had to get pat down at grocery, and that did something in my heart, boy. I felt.
How old were you when that happened? Around how old?
How old were you, David? We were probably late teens, early 20s.
Okay.
Well, let's forget Fafan then, not so?
Yeah.
Big man.
Yeah. And that really broke my heart, boy.
He
And
just embarrassed, you know, going on in the rich people area, and that's what happened.
But Mark, can't you, now that you're an adult and you're looking at it now in this forum, can't you look at it and say, well, maybe because we were acting a little off, that is why they pat us down. That's why they did what they
Yeah,
did.
because if you were just standing in a line, you in one line, he
Acting
and they have no
normal.
reason for them. Let me ask you a question. Were you all the only black people in Hilo at the time? What so why they pick all your...
I was about to ask that question as well.
I don't know. I'd ask David.
So don't you think y'all were acting suspicious
David said it's
and
your
that's
fault
why?
because how you
It
was
could have
getting on.
possibly been my fault, to be honest. So I was trying
So
to.
why are you still holding on to this day?
Because in the moment, the look of the white people was sticking in my head.
But it is because of what you all did. It's because you all were looking suspicious.
But I could see the disappointment and disgust on their face.
But they don't know. They thinking you all did something wrong. I might have looked at all your funny
and
way
do
the
too.
same
Oh, let me,
And you
I
know
know
what?
what
Yeah,
to
he
say.
just do the same
Would you
thing to
look
other
at
people.
somebody who getting pat down and be like, you're getting a little pat down there.
He just do the same thing.
No,
with
when would you
opposites,
ever do that?
True, but it make me know. Move proper.
Yes.
Stores.
Move normal. Do
Yeah, but it's like a pressure. Like, okay, I'm moving.
no, there's no
There's
pressure.
no pressure, Mark. The pressure
You
in your,
be normal.
in your mind.
Okay, after that, you ever get pat down again in a
A grocery.
No, because I leave.
So you never went to a grocery after that,
Yes.
right? And were you acting suspicious?
I don't know.
Mark, you
But I
being
just try not
difficult.
to stay too long in those places ever since then.
So,
That
Mark,
is
so
true.
Mark, clearly you still have, like, because you say when you travel and stuff,
Like
you
scar.
still feel
Trauma.
like somebody watching you in the store, you can't, you had to move on
I'll
fast.
forgive that security guard, boy.
And it was a black man. who did it? Who did it to us? But I do feel uncomfortable at one night. I don't know if it's probably a trauma.
David, not here. When you travel, you felt uncomfortable, David? You're not on the show. Yeah, because you see me when you travel, you felt uncomfortable. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
David, does that scenario bother you to this day in any way?
No.
He have a different heart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly
It's
our
very
point,
true.
though.
Yeah, as
He
we were
does have
pointing
a
out,
different
we're
heart.
talking about
Yeah.
there's something about the scar people. And
And
I
you
guess
know-
when they feel inferior, like I feel
you know
like
what I
it's less of a
realized?
person.
With racism too, is a hard thing where you could put on the identity of a victim.
Yes.
And like I've been advantaged and they're looking at me a certain way, and if I try to rise, they will never let it happen because they hate me and this kind of thing. But somebody with a different mindset now, who totally let go of these things, could rise up and realize there are opportunities in life, and there are things we limit ourselves sometimes by putting on this identity of this is what happened to us and these is the boundaries society set for us and these things. And that's something that I dealing with and back
Well, I was listening to some. I can't remember the person is right. Actually, this is what calling name, right? But they was explaining that people. It's not somebody from Trinidad, right? But it's explaining how people from the Caribbean Africans, different people, when they come to America, they succeed more than the black people in America because they don't have that victim mindset when they come. And I think everybody knew that. Everybody who family go up away, they just be able to provide for down here and they sell for away, they don't feel it will be hard in the context of the hard work, but they don't feel like something against them. So it's really many times people just have a victim mentality. They feel like, oh, you say you go something wrong, and then even today now you realize now people use the victim card now. So like how you saying you actually how you saying there is actually opposite now in America, where it will, I guess, in certain states, like if somebody actually come, you felt like somebody treated you with racism, they speak out and they embarrass you. And they make you feel like, oh, look, you're a white man, look what you get, and they make you all put you up on social media. They do all kind of madness to shame you. And you could lose your job, you could do all kind of different things now because you're maybe somehow showing racism or something like that. So
and George Floyd spark up a lot of things too.
Yes. I mean, this might be thing, but I don't think George Floyd was a but I don't think that was I watched the video from different angles and stuff. I don't think it was a situation of race.
All right, Candace Owens.
I don't necessarily
Let me see.
I don't necessarily think so. I think if from the beginning of the whole story, right? Now remember, there's a part of that story that people don't focus on. Remember, did he try to pay with a check? Help me. When he was in the store
he did something wrong. That's why they flagged it.
Right. So he was flagged, right? He had to try to pay with a check that was fraud or something like that. But it was something that happened in the restaurant or wherever he was before. And so the police went after him based on that. And he was, like my brother here, he started to act a little suspicious. No. Something was wrong with him, right? The story was so long ago.
That is true.
He was saying, what was the problem?
He couldn't breathe.
He couldn't breathe. How could I forget that? Right. That I'm not saying that they were wrong. I'm not saying, gosh, please. I'm saying they were wrong, right? But to make it a race thing, I think it was a case of the police, using excessive force, having bad judgment, right? I do not think that the police did what they did in error, bad judgment, whatever, but I don't think it's because he was black per se. That's my thinking. And
Mark, do I agree with it?
this is what I also, David,
You agree with that too, eh?
David, there are a lot of white people who get abused by police, but they do not show those videos as much.
There are a lot of white people who massacre other people and the police calmly lock them up.
True.
Yeah, but the
Calmly lock them up.
right, but the opposite happens too, where there are white people who get licks, who get,
Often, not as often as black.
Actually, it's more. It's sure that white people just get more and more trouble. Because I guess obviously too, because maybe there's more white people in America.
I wouldn't say more trouble.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say more trouble. I don't know if that is true, but I'm not going there because all they go get vexed with me. I'm not going there. I would say something.
I would say I don't doubt it have racism in it. I wouldn't doubt it had racism in the thing, but I don't necessarily mean the entire police force racist.
True.
Exactly.
I don't mean everybody racist, because to deny that it does have racism is, you know what I mean? You can't put somebody in tension, but the reality it does have, they have certain people who, let me not go down that scenario, or you want me to paint the scenario, or I don't know if it would be offensive or
we
what.
don't know which scenario.
But you are generally offensive, so I don't know if you should try to even go there.
Okay, well, I wouldn't play that card, but I have no problem being people calling me names and different things like that. I'm not Mark, but but what I mean is like there are stereotypes in the world.
Yes, agreed.
And part of that racism, if you want to call it that, many times it's not necessarily racism.
Stigma, like
it's a stereotype.
Yeah,
that they people portray themselves a certain way. So we see it in the opposite way, right? I'll give you an example. For many years, it was told that if a Chinese must know Kung Fu. Why is that? I'm just asking, why is that? Every Chinese person is way on, that no girl, he could fight.
Yeah.
So let me use the opposite of.
And they could cook.
Yeah.
Make some noodles for me now.
And all they eat is rice.
Right.
Because for a big portion of it, that is all we actually. Because on this side of the world, my first experience with a Chinese person was watching a movie.
Right.
I never really knew a Chinese person growing up or any kind of thing like that, but all I knew of Jet Li and all these people is they could fight, and every time they portray a movie, they're running on bamboo, they get on bad. And that's where you take, right? So there is an element of how we would say like stereotyping that happens.
Yeah.
And I don't think people want to accept that is part of a lot
So you're
of
saying,
policing and
so you're
different-
saying that how a black person, excuse me, portrays themselves, how they dress and how they move. That's what you mean? That there's a stereotype?
Of course.
Or that black people commit the majority of crimes?
All right, let me ask you a question, right? No, nothing to do with that. Let me ask you a question, right?
David, come on the show now.
What are Indian people known for in the world?
Curry.
Doubles.
And Bollywood dancing behind a tree, behaving a certain way.
Sitting down in a factory making clothes.
Yeah, doing certain type of, dance, acting a certain way. Now, in the world, when even black people portray
Also that is
themselves-
smart.
Well, I guess it's
True.
different type cultures, I guess, right? Because they have like people become doctors. Well, the Jews, they're known for being different ways with things, right?
Business people.
But when it's in the media, how Africans is be portrayed? Like, where's their when they think of Bollywood, they think of Indian music, right? When they think of
rap,
when they think of hip hop and rap, what you really think of?
Gangsters.
Gangsters,
Yeah.
shooting, killing,
This
woman.
one say
Think
Eminem.
about Christmas
Come now.
list.
You one white man in rap.
You think about woman, how they dress, they portray themselves, looking a certain way. You know, and hence the reason they see certain effects of it, right? So hence the reason. You see a man with pants hanging low, somebody might be a little biased because they think, well, this is where you're coming from, or they had to protect themselves more. And
Because your pants low?
they might feel, because they might feel they have a gun, or you might be acting a little more violent.
Because your pants low?
Yeah.
Because that is what they think about it, right? Mama trying to tell her, right? I would not fight with a Chinese person. Because I feel it don't kung fu. So if it is your only experience of sometimes certain people is what you think is viewed as, that is your proper self-defense one time. You don't think that's part of some things that's happened?
You're right. I mean, we're trying to fight it. But even right here in Trinidad,
Of
we know we
course.
have a lot of gang warfare in Trinidad. And the gentlemen have a look. And I being honest, there's certain places you go and you see certain types of gentlemen coming out a car or approaching, and your heart race a little bit.
Yeah,
Because
make sure your door's locked.
Thank you. It's not like I being racist or serious. It's just the fact of the matter is they have a look.
Right.
They all dress a certain way, their hair look a certain way.
So just
They-
today, an Indian guy looking like a gangster, driving on the main road by me because I was going home and, well, you pick me up there, whatever. So going home and they slow down by the traffic light to stop on the main road. And he coming and pointing at the glass and Nicky lock the car. Like he wanted to, he working in the tire shop. So Nicky, the car, the lights need, and there's shine it. So he trying to signal and tell me that, but I watching him because he coming up close, he can't be getting on a certain way and different things. So I just, and then I realized he trying to, so I said, what is he, what you want? And then before as I go to take down the glass, he started to say something to his partner. He said, what you feel? What he feel? I begging for money or?
But it's how we looking.
Yeah, it's just how he not necessarily looking how he moving. We walk up to the car and tap it again on a certain way. I know when my wife on the car and turn on the glass with she on that side for you to come and tap she up as a clock. So it's just sort of a way where you carry
How
yourself
people
a certain
carry
way.
themselves.
But anyhow, yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make. You know, to have different scenarios. But I know this is a sticky subject, but to me, it really matters to me fully. I'm more sensitive to the other people that will offend them because I've experienced racism on the other side, and I cool. You know what I mean? I get slapped up because they call me a coolie. I used to go to a certain school with a lot more African people, and they told me that, you saw good looking fella, you know. But if you're in a different school, they say, you saw good looking fella, the girls are good. You saw, but if you're in a different school, you might get girls. I express a lot of racism, and it's just because you're an Indian, just because. So I know the one, but I never felt any of because I guess what helped me is that I grew up in a multi-race place, so I don't view people like that, but I understand that I have people who like that. So I understand that even from lying with them, because they might have gone lying with certain people and them don't know me. You know what I mean? And them thinking, well, who's this Indian who ever come in and thinking, you know what I mean? And then vice versa. I know it's still lying with the rich folks and they treat you a certain way, and you know what I mean? They have certain race. I remember there was a young lady who was interested in me, and we used to go and check. She used to go to a certain school. And the father looked at me and was disappointed that she liked me. So I just left his daughter. Because it's an awkward vibes in the person's house, you know, because they realize everybody like, but it wasn't like that kind of thing, right? There'd be no girl. It's just because you're young and 14, 15 and you're tracking girl and everybody climbing together. And it just felt weird. So you have experiences in life, but it's important you just don't turn into a victim. You love people. But I guess for me, that was my experience. I experienced different people who were treating me. So I don't think I ever grew up thinking, well, people view it that way, but I accept it because when I went into the school, it was like I was maybe the only I was one of the oldest people in my form, Indian person in my form. And if I was in the school, maybe it had 10 or 15.
Whoa.
I could think of at the top of my head right now, right? And so my point is that there was a lot of racism. I didn't even want to call where the school was, but it had a lot of racism that's happening. So I understand that how people could go through things in life, but it's important that you had to overcome in some point of time, because regardless who he is, nobody getting a handout in life like that. You know what I mean? You had to fight, you had to overcome, you had to love people, you had to, you know what I mean? So it's important, Mark, to be awkward, you just change your behavior.
Yeah. And you have to become more confident in who you are, not only who you are, but who you are in Christ. And people could feed off of your confidence. They know when you walk in authority, and they know when you're confident, they know when not to mess with you. They could actually feed off of your energy. I don't want to use the word energy, we know the word like that. But they could pick up your vibes then. So you in a store and your thought, that's where your thoughts go in, it would show in your body language. And then you end up looking suspicious because you're trying not to look suspicious.
Exactly.
And that's you see, like forget your race, right? It's also happening in relationships. Like if somebody is very not trusted, like you say the other partner, like say a man with the girl, and anybody who talk to a messenger you will always feel like, who calling you? Who messaging you? You just always view things from that point of view. And hence the reason you'll never be able to just see the beauty of what it is, right? And you end up mashing up a relationship because of what it is you carrying. So I think it's important, like Onika saying, especially as Christians, it's one thing the world, right? We know the world deal with a lot of things that, like the man rightfully seen the video, if it was all black people on the face of the earth, they would find some kind of way, because we did see that in Rwanda. And different things.
The Hutsis and the Tutsis.
Yeah, different nose, different racism.
Yeah. Massacre. Kill out each other.
In America, there has always been a form of racism, but they don't watch it as racism because there's something like, they call them trailer trash people.
White trash.
They call them, they have always been the rednecks. There's always been different type of people.
That's what we
talking amongst about. Even the white people that they think, one of them better than each other, or vice versa. They don't want to. You understand? They always had that within, but you realize that's not a talking point ever in America, that they don't ever bring up that, because obviously there's more things at play when it comes to. It's really to divide people, right? Because God told us that no kingdom would stand that that divided. So hence reason Satan's job is to really divide and everybody in some kind of way, right? But I think it's important for Christians to really deal with this and overcome this person in your life. I'm married to somebody who's not of my race, interesting enough.
So am I.
So everyone.
So is he.
Yeah, so is he. It's interesting, huh?
I too.
You fall in love, you meet somebody and fall in love. It's a beautiful thing, because just that alone is limited from who you can marry. Imagine that. True. Because you're racist.
Because I didn't think this was possible, honestly.
You didn't think marrying Eva was possible?
Before, outside of being a Christian, I would not feel like it was possible.
Because she's an Indian?
Yeah.
You didn't think anything was interesting, yeah?
I didn't think my hand could reach so far.
What do you look? I'll
leave it right there.
Just to correct you, I'm not an Indian.
So I was now going to say she's a half Indian.
Yeah, it's more Indian. You come on more like your mother, but go ahead.
No, I might appear more Indian, but that doesn't mean that I'm an Indian.
Oh, okay, cool.
So what's wrong with being Indian?
Nothing. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just not non-Indian. Did you do chutney dance in school when you was growing up?
Yes, I did. But what I have to do with being an Indian? Just saying.
Just ask a question, ma'am.
My whole father black.
That is okay. I just ask a question, but go ahead. Anyway, I don't know if there's something else you want to add from the video.
That was basically it. I mean, and I kind of wanted to hear your views. You experienced racism. Me experienced racism.
So you never experienced racism in Trinidad?
Yes, I said it's in Trinidad. I experienced it.
Okay.
But I don't think it was really race, more class. Like people treat you a certain way because you're a nobody to them. You understand? So like in the circles, there might have been black people, but black people with money, with stature, with a good position, but you are nobody. So it's not I don't think based on race more.
I think that's
class
even a bigger problem. It really
Yeah.
classism. It's
Especially
really the
where I
biggest
work.
problem.
Yeah.
If you are somebody important, sure.
Yeah.
Everything changes. All the rules changes for you if
Yeah.
you're somebody important.
Yeah.
Yeah, we,
Even the Bible addressed that in James, right? Talk about when the rich man come in and you treat him special. You
Yeah.
should treat the poor people as well special because even believe it or not, they deserve. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say they
Exactly.
deserve, right? But they, would appreciate it more, I guess, if
Yeah.
it is they felt somewhere where they felt valuable.
Yeah.
Rather than treating them like, oh, gee, 1 second.
Yeah.
yeah, but unfortunately,
True.
that's just not the world we live in.
Let me tell you something. If you watch the first show, you all know what we're talking about.
I explained myself to you all,
I know we just joking around.
I
Come
explained
on.
had nothing to do with how the man looked. It's who I thought he was.
Oh, okay. But that didn't matter how he looked. But anyway.
Talk about that on the show?
No.
Yes. Yeah, we talk about
On the show?
No,
Not on the
Not
show.
Oh,
No.
okay. Sorry.
that was here. With us.
I guess sorry. But go ahead. Yeah.
That was it. You was going to say something?
No, so I was saying the last person. No, it was Kyle.
Yes.
Oh,
Can't
yes.
go on
No,
a video.
okay. We don't have nothing. I wanted to see how we would go with everything here with the show.
Okay.
Interesting mind of my video was about forgiveness. It's
Okay.
something
Okay.
similar. But it'll be different. I'll bring it next week. I will bring it with you because some from Jordan Peterson is about more with men.
Yeah.
And I would like to show it next time. But I wanted to see how we would go with time and different things. How the show and it was cool and we did well. So I don't know if anybody will have a dig about it. Well, I guess I don't have much comments because this is a
Yeah, people get quiet with the race talk.
Yeah.
You want to do the reaction? Or?
Yes,
Yeah, that
we
was
did the
it.
reaction.
Yeah. We're next it. But I guess nobody commented. But I would really like to hear people in Trinidad, like people who are
Yeah.
listening online, if you had some kind of experience that,
Let's say
or if you
goodnight.
do personally feel that way. I know that is something not easy for a lot of people to say. It quicker for you to say, well,
I wouldn't remember. If I faced race, I wouldn't remember. Like, I really don't care.
I wouldn't. That's the thing too. Even if it did happen, it would be so insignificant to me that I would remember. And then here was the thought as well, right? I don't expect anything really,
Oh,
but
really?
just a mutual respect from people I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't cuss me, don't treat me bad. You don't have to like me.
And
You do not
yeah.
even have to accept me.
I think it has something
know?
to do with personalities as
Yeah.
well. Because it's possible that I experienced racism, one I can't remember, or I probably didn't even notice, because I really don't care. Unless you are somebody that I actually...
It's a part of
Like,
life.
if Kyle were to tell me something, I might be like, wait, Kyle, tell me this, and I
Yeah.
might feel that type of way. But if
but I
someone
guess also too, if it was like out of the blue though. If it was something real obvious, you'd remember it. Again, pull over and calling you a certain name.
Well, yeah. You
No, I mean, if
remember
you had
that.
that traumatic, the reason why I
Yeah.
had certain things.
I think the closest thing we could probably say is like sometimes if Mark and I out in public, you tend to notice that people stay
Yeah.
because
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Not anymore.
Okay.
There's certain people that watch me
no,
and
in
Nikki.
certain
Well, yeah, it
areas,
have
especially.
too much mixed couples for
It
that.
doesn't-
in
it doesn't
Trinidad.
matter.
No, we were in Saudi the other
Yes, it
day,
doesn't
and
matter.
I think,
Okay, South,
Yeah,
yes.
certain
That,
places.
Kerwin
Yeah,
and I,
it depends
let me
on-
tell you something.
Also,
Yeah.
No, I'm
there's
talking,
opposite
I am
couples
talking
between- but go ahead.
20-something, 30-something years
I
ago,
don't know, it still happens.
right? When we used to go Gulf City, we used to go Gulf City a lot. That moment, you watch me like they're going to kill me. I am not lying. I used to feel like my life
Well, remember,
under
For
stress.
me, I stole an African queen, so.
Exactly, yeah.
But
No,
anyway,
no, that's true, long time. But I think now, oh my gosh. Still,
No, it's still happening.
Yeah, certain people, more like the older traditional.
Yeah, old
People?
Indian people.
Yeah. They would.
it's happened.
Yeah.
okay.
Then you know.
I don't see it again, but long time, yes. I used to see it a lot.
Anyhow, yeah. So the video first I go.
Let me
I'm
say
looking
good
forward to
night
this
in the
video.
Yes,
meantime to
there's some
Alberto
people-
Mendez.
yeah.
Good night to you. Let's say good night to Esther Noel and Indira Theodal. Good night to all of you. I don't think I have any comments.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that meant.
That people, so this comments is from before with
Yeah,
the
well,
relationship. thing.
What Joel was
This
saying
one-
is when I said that if you bring value, so like kind of like classism, but he's saying in his opinion, not all the time when you add value, you are appreciated. Adding value to an individual may be accepted, but not in a group. Some people might be intimidated by value,
Yeah.
I guess.
They ready with
Okay.
the video?
A little lost. Yeah, we ready for
Yeah.
the video. All the trade up. Let's see what is going on here.
It'll be very.
I can see why you're single, probably.
I've been single for a long time.
How long
have you been single for?
Okay.
Like,
Start over, yeah.
I can see why you're single, probably.
Yeah, I've been single for a long time. Wait, how long have you been single for?
Like 4 months.
Ooh, you sure you're ready for me?
I'm ready.
I've been single for 2.5
Are you
years.
sure you're ready for me?
I don't know. I like how this is going. If there was no one here wanting to date and like I was to like leaning for a kiss, what would you do?
Yes, you have.
The person I think is actually interested in me and is not here for the money is number 3. Yes! So, I want to come up to you and ask you one question.
I think he's right. He must be right.
If you're here for the money, you take the money. Are you here for love or are you here for money?
But you can still take me on a date and we can like work out if it's true. Like once you go black, we never go black.
Oh my god.
madness is that?
Oh.
Nice video, Isaac.
Oh. Yeah, but that's weird though, because I'll be honest, in that scenario, because I don't know you, I take any money too. Because I have
But
nothing
I
to
think
lose.
that looked like it was some sort of
No, it's
experimenting, you know.
I know.
What was is he was so convinced that the
I know.
girl.
I think he had to probably pick out the person
out the
who
person
was
who
serious
really-
about him.
So he was so convinced that this girl
That
like him.
person,
He
by the
lost
way,
because she
she-
did. It's like something to do beforehand. So like the 4 girls would say, well,
so
we
he
interested
thought,
on now.
Oh, so she fooled him.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
she
I
should
think, well, that was the point to deceive the person.
That's the point of the video, is to make you feel that I
She
like
deceived
you.
him. She
And
did
he
well.
fell for it. So he asked the wrong questions. Huh?
She's a real gold digger. She say, give me money and it just still cry out.
Ooh.
But that's life. What they gonna do?
True.
There's some women out there for the money. Yeah, it's a trade. I get a wife, and the wife get money. So I get somebody to be with, and get money. Trade, that's a trade-off.
Barter.
Yeah.
I guess
Barter.
different circumstances for everybody else.
True.
Because no girl owe you for your money.
Yeah.
So but where catch coming from? When you have money, it's a different ball game. A type of games maybe you're surrounding yourself with, right? Because obviously that's certain people are wrong, you know. Because they want you for your money alone, you know?
This is a conversation we can have at some point, but the more money you have, the higher your value and the better looking woman you could get. That's just reality.
Even
course.
if you hideous.
Yeah, even if you're Jay-Z.
Of course.
Somebody, I heard. Wait, a pastor.
That should have been the reaction.
A pastor tell me this week that men tend to value women's youth and beauty, and women tend to value their financial status.
That's a fact of life. You heard that one?
Well, I guess
Men tend to value women's youth and beauty, and women value men's financial status.
So he was telling me, he suggests women ideally should get married younger because
There's
it's
a
a,
good
yeah,
look.
it's a, yeah,
There's
it's a
a
whole
different-
next thing. Yeah,
was that Andrew T who said that?
Nah, it's a pastor.
He's a pastor.
Okay.
He said younger.
But
He
then the
didn't
man
call her
might
age. He
have
just
money.
said younger.
When the man
Ideally in
will
their
have,
20s and things.
well,
so.
then a man. in the
Nah,
20s
not
typically-
for men in their
They
30s.
may not
You know,
have.
Like,
Yes, that's exactly when they was get married to them, and in their 30s. Because remember, for a man to get certain, like say you start off, like say from scratch or whatever, you come from a back. It's only until you're about 30 something you're financially set up, you know, not on 20 something, and then you go to work, you do whatever, and then by 30 something you now have.
that's not how it should be though.
I know, but just saying, if you come from majority of people come from a broken background, so you had to start off good, you might have to go and study, you might do something.
You wait.
What's that? Which can you know for?
No. Why you had to get your act together in your 30s?
I'm not saying they
No,
get to act
he
together.
just
What I'm
saying
trying to
timeline-wise.
Timeline-wise, they might be I'll give an example, right? Other than business and different things, right? To become a doctor, you have to go to school, you have to do certain things. To become a lawyer, to have a good...
You're calling professions there that you need a good few years of study.
Right, so what I'm saying is most people,
but
to have a good profession, to have a high-paying job, they have to go through a system of life to reach to that
Who
point.
say that? But you don't need a high-paying job to get married.
She's not understanding my point. A woman wouldn't be interested in when it's 22 if you're broke.
That's not true.
Alright, that's not the point of what
No,
we're
but
talking
Not
about.
all the time. That is
talking
not the
about-
case for all the time. People.
I know, but we're talking about what the context what we're talking about here. Where it's a woman interested for your money.
Right, but that's a certain type of woman.
Right, so what we're saying is the only way you can get a person is when it is you have the money.
Right, that type of woman, yes.
Which
Right.
is when they reach later on in life.
Right.
Right, so you have to be a little certain age. Should just
Right.
get the fact.
No, it's not general, David.
I know. I heard a lot of women within our circles say they want to be in somebody with like 50,000 and more.
Nobody said that.
I've heard that.
They were not serious. Stop it now.
What?
Gosh, boy.
Anyhow,
So how come
guys,
none
this
of them
turning into
married
now.
Wait,
She
So
said
how come none of them
married
married
now?
If they wasn't serious.
the man finishing a degree.
The men don't have their act together. That's why. Yeah.
True.
But anyhow, guys.
They're not serious about it now when reality kick in. But back then they were probably serious. Like, be real.
But you know, just say that men care about beauty and women care about
Yes, but you said something that sort of triggered me. You said that. Where's that again?
This is how women, this is how marriage should be. You're fighting and you can't remember where you're fighting for.
That there's some older men tend to get money.
Oh, you were saying that. Oh, that men kind of get their act together and when they reach
I'm not even saying they act, but they get a stable, more stable.
That's when they
than the
actually started making money. So they had to work for the past the other 10 years or whatever to actually
Well,
get
the kind
to
of
this.
women that are looking for the men with the money, yeah, they go in for that age.
No, but here's
That's-
the point with the other side of what I was saying though. When there's 30 something now, they act together. If men like younger women, who you feel they're gonna go with 30 something year old women,
No,
is the
they-
younger girls they're
yes,
gonna go with.
agreed.
So hence the reason why this end up happening is, have you ever noticed, even when you're going to school, the majority of girls in school is like Carmen and Maximan? Because they have money and status.
Depends on the school.
Oh, the career will fight with it, like,
No,
it's
but
good. I
come
like
on,
the
and
opposition.
Maximan.
I
Who
like
say
it.
all girls that depends on the school you're going to. If your school was somewhere and they go
I
back
can
to
guarantee this, right? If you're going to school where the guy have a nice little car when he's 17, he quicker get more girls.
Yes, a car, yes.
Oh, okay, but why?
You tell me what Maximan.
But why?
Well,
Why the man why he can't get through more? But anyhow,
you don't want to take taxi.
you see, so you go back to our point. But anyhow, hence the reason the men had to, when they done school, they had to wait till
You
about
put
24
music
or
first,
whatever.
boy.
I know. They're trying to run it, That's our next conversation. But I like you see people watching it in the upper laughing face now, they're listening. But anyhow, guys, it was a pleasure. I don't know if you all have a closing statement you want to make or something.
Yeah, just stay strong. Take the chip off your shoulder. Talk about finances before you get married. Well,
Forgive.
Very, very important.
Yeah. And maybe next Real Talk, we will have a little back and forward debate. We will do the men versus women, and we will come with some questions that, we could challenge each other, because it's just a reality. There are things that I guess people view differently. Would you agree to that? That both things view, and I think many times, if you're a woman, you want to learn what men like, learn it from men, not from women.
Sure,
and vice
right.
versa. If it is a woman, a man, you want a
Sure,
woman like
right.
you can learn that from a woman, not necessarily from a man with certain things. But you all have a great night. We're out. Looking forward to you all. Not this week, the week after. We're out now, guys. Remember to like and share the stream.
Too late.
Yeah.